A Saskatoon woman remembered for the difference she made, how her family is struggling to understand why she was the victim of homicide. The city's plans to park most physical pay stations in Sutherland. Will a pilot project turn into change? And are Canada's snowbirds in jeopardy of being grounded?
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a well-known social worker, mental health advocate, and musician being remembered in Saskatoon. CTV's Laura Woodward now on the legacy she leaves behind and the latest in the homicide investigation into her death.
A song honoring the life of 77-year-old Dory Cook, Saskatoon's 7th homicide this year. She was found dead on Sunday inside her home on Avenue R South, where Kevin Wessaquate leaves flowers on her doorstep. He says Cook helped him through difficult times.
She was such a open, kind-hearted person. She was always able to make people feel like, they were being heard, make people feel like they belonged to something.
A social worker, mental health advocate, and musician, Cook is being remembered as generous, compassionate, non-judgmental, and someone who brought her guitar everywhere she went. The news of Cook's death was made public on Red Dress Day, the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls.
What's really sad about it is that she's fought so hard against this violence. So that's what's shocking about all of this, is that this happens, she dies in such a violent way, and then also it happens around Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Day.
Cook's family says they're still in shock, struggling to understand what happened.
How this could happen to an elderly person? No one can wrap their head around it.
Police say the call first came in as a report of an injured person. When officers arrived, Cook was dead. 42-year-old Rachel Jessica Smallboy has been charged with second-degree murder. She made her second court appearance Thursday morning.
My family had restraining orders against her, and we don't have the full story. We can't speak on it because it's still an investigation. We don't know what happened, how she got in there, what.
Smallboy appeared here at provincial court by video, where the defense requested a 2-week adjournment as a new lawyer takes over the case. Smallboy remains in custody until her next court date, scheduled for May 21st. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Larange man who admitted to lighting a fire that sparked a wildfire last summer and forced evacuations from several Saskatchewan communities will have to wait to find out his sentence. Jasmine Pelche on why his sentencing has been pushed back another month.
Victims of the Ditch 2 wildfire will be waiting a while longer to see justice served. The man who pleaded guilty to arson for lighting the Ditch 2 fire has had his sentencing date pushed back. Jason Halkett was scheduled for sentencing Thursday morning in Montreal Lake, but the sentencing was pushed back until June. The Ditch 2 fire last summer forced evacuations from the Waiaquin area about an hour and a half north of Prince Albert. The fire burned more than 200,000 hectares and grew to be almost 20 times the size of Saskatoon. The defense requested more time to go over materials, and the Crown says it is still waiting on several victim impact statements. The Crown suggested the date be moved to July to allow time for the preparation of a pre-sentence report, but the request was not granted. The Ditch 2 fire was reported on May 26, 2025 in Waiaquin. An investigation by the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency determined the fire was human-caused. Halkett was arrested on August 27th in Saskatoon and charged with 1 count of arson, damage to property. Halkett is scheduled to appear in court for sentencing on June 4th in Montreal Lake. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Montreal Lake.
The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says support is being provided to communities experiencing severe spring flooding. A total of 35 communities have declared a state of emergency, with 14 declaring in the last 48 hours. The SPSA says flooding equipment along with crews have been sent to the areas impacted.
It's too early to know what the full impact and cost of flooding will be on the road infrastructure as this event is still unfolding in the province. But crews are working hard to keep the highways open and restore traffic service as quickly as possible.
As of this afternoon, 11 provisional highways are closed due to flooding and 8 incidents related to water on the road. Saskatchewan's Ministry of Highways recommends people go to the highway hotline for the latest updates. Not surprisingly, spring seeding has been delayed in parts of the province, struggling with flooding and spring runoff. So far, the province says 3% of the 2026 crop has been planted. That's well behind the average pace. Cold temperatures, frozen soil, and washed out roads are also slowing down progress. That's expected to change in the coming weeks. Western Saskatchewan has had better luck so far. The Southwest is furthest ahead with 7% seeded. And we're really holding out hope that Mother Nature will cooperate soon.
Well, we certainly hope so. Temperatures are going to be on the rise, and that's good news for some, not so great for others. And right now, so it's a very sort of double-edged, sort of a mixed bag of conditions in that respect, or at least the results. We're keeping our eye on this system that continues to slide in a southeasterly fashion across Saskatchewan. It did bring some rain to Saskatoon and area. I checked the automatics for the Battlefords and Prince Albert. Nothing showed up, but doesn't mean they didn't get any rain in those areas. But going forward, it looks like things are looking pretty pleasant for Mother's Day. We'll have all those details for you later on.
All right, thanks, Jeff. City of Saskatoon is planning to remove all but one of the 14 parking pay stations in the Sutherland Business Improvement District as it steers drivers to pay through a smartphone app. It's part of a pilot project aiming to save the city money in the future. But as CTV's Stacey Hine tells us, not everyone is on board.
All but one of these 14 parking stations along Central Avenue in Sutherland could soon be removed. The city of Saskatoon is looking at a 1-year pilot project in the area that would push drivers toward paying through a smartphone app. Administration says the pilot will help determine whether digital-only parking could work, but says a citywide shift isn't happening anytime soon, as most parking stations have already been upgraded, except for the ones in Sutherland.
Those machines would have had to come out anyways. If for whatever reason this project didn't go well or we didn't get favorable results, we would just upgrade the machines accordingly.
A city report shows about 52% of parking transactions were made through the app, while 48% were made at the machines. It also notes greater app use could reduce maintenance, repair, and replacement costs. But the proposal is drawing concerns about accessibility.
Today, I intentionally left my phone behind because we're going to have lunch and I don't want to be interrupted. So why would I carry a phone? And I know a lot of people who don't do any currency that way.
In a statement, the Saskatoon Council on Aging says a shift to digital-only payment could create barriers for seniors who may not have smartphones, data plans, or comfort using app-based technology. The executive director of the Sutherland bid says the pilot is a chance to see if the system works.
We know that for some people it's going to be a little bit more difficult. We're hoping that we can figure out all those things and make it work better for the community and for the businesses.
City administration says the next steps are to bring bylaw changes to council in August, remove these stations if approved, and review the pilot project at the end of next year to determine whether it should end, continue, or become permanent. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
2 people escaped a fire at a townhouse last night by climbing onto the roof. The Saskatoon Fire Department says crews were called just after 7 o'clock to the 3100 block of Laurier Drive. They arrived to find smoke coming from the 2-story home. 2 people were on the roof above the front door. Both were brought to safety and firefighters tackled the flames. The 2 on the roof were the only ones inside when the fire started. An investigator will now work to determine where the fire started, the cause, and how much damage there was. A semi-driver was seriously injured in a highway crash along Highway 7. It happened last night just before 11 o'clock west of Flaxcombe. RCMP say 2 semis collided. One of the drivers was sent to hospital with serious injuries. The other was assessed at the scene by paramedics. There is no word on what contributed to the crash. The province says a cat in southeastern Saskatchewan has died from avian influenza. The cat was reportedly fine the morning of April 20th, but became severely ill with neurological and respiratory symptoms and died that same day. A test confirmed the animal had highly pathogenic avian influenza, a more serious form of the illness. It's commonly associated with wild birds and domestic poultry, but the province says infections can be found in mammals, including cats and dogs, and the risk can be higher during spring migration when wild waterfowl activity increases. The cat in this case was known to spend time outdoors and may have been at a greater risk of exposure. Another illegal package was prevented from being smuggled into Saskatchewan Penitentiary near Prince Albert. The Correctional Service of Canada says the attempt was made on Tuesday. Items in the package included methamphetamine, tobacco, lighters, mobile phones, and accessories. The estimated institutional value of these items is more than $846,000. The Correctional Service of Canada says it works with local police to take action against people attempting to introduce contraband into correctional institutions. This summer could be the last chance to see Canada's iconic snowbirds take to the sky. A Conservative MP says Ottawa is preparing to pause or cancel the popular Air Force program due to an aging fleet, forcing the Defence Minister to respond. CTV's Graham Richardson reports.
For decades, they've been a Canadian symbol of blue skies and hot summer days. But Conservatives are now warning 2026 will be the last time Canadians will be able to see the iconic snowbirds for many years to come.
Up front, the snowbirds are being cancelled. This is the last season.
Tommy is the former mayor of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, home base for the snowbirds. He says the schedule is normal for 2026, but after that, the planes will stay on the ground.
They do our nation proud. And we really need to get behind our snowbirds. It's an SOS call. It's Save Our Snowbirds.
2 air shows confirmed to CTV they are not booked in 2027 and referred all questions back to the snowbirds. When asked directly about the future of the program, Defence Minister David McGuinty's office refused all comment. One Liberal MP said cost is a factor.
At what cost? So, I mean, yeah, it's a Canadian institution. Would be sad to see it go, but I'm not sure how much it costs for the snowbirds.
After our story published online, the minister said this in the House of Commons.
This member surely can't be suggesting he's going to put the pilots, the women and men of that fleet, in harm's way.
In 2021, the government committed $30 million to upgrade the fleet and keep it flying until 2030. It appears the snowbirds won't make it that long.
This is like maple syrup. This is like, ice cold Canadian beer. This is like, gravy on our poutine.
So why not just replace the fleet altogether once and for all? Well, the cost to do that will be between $1 and $2 billion with all the other government priorities. Aerobatics in the air and a new snowbird fleet may not be top of the list. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ottawa.
There could be another substantial increase in the estimated cost of refurbishing Saskatchewan's coal-fired power plants, according to the opposition. As Wayne Mantika reports, the NDP says it's obtained a leaked SaskPower document that shows a 10-fold increase to $26 billion.
The NDP called it a coal bombshell.
First, this Premier's coal plan was set to cost $900 million. Then that number jumped to $2.6 billion. Yesterday, we revealed that the true cost is a staggering $26 billion. Mr. Speaker, that is more than the entire budget for Saskatchewan.
The government says the capital cost of refurbishing coal-fired power plants remains at $2.6 billion.
Speaker, now we have on full display for the people of Saskatchewan why no one can take this NDP opposition seriously.
Right. The NDP based its claim of increased costs on a SaskPower document that shows a 25-year cost estimate for refurbishing and operating coal-fired power plants. It includes more than capital costs.
So what they included as a part of that $26 billion were 25-year costs for maintenance, for sustainment, for operating, for salaries, for mining.
The government says there are operating costs regardless of how electricity is generated. The NDP doesn't feel any more money should be invested in coal. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority is alerting the public about a possible hepatitis A exposure at the Saskatoon Club. It says anyone who ate or drank at the downtown establishment between February 25th and March 18th may have been exposed as an employee had the liver infection. The SHA says symptoms, which include loss of appetite, dark urine, light-colored stool, fatigue, nausea, and jaundice, can present 50 days after an exposure. Anyone who is at the Saskatoon Club between February 25th and March 18th and is feeling sick should contact their healthcare professional immediately for treatment. The government of Saskatchewan is recognizing World Ovarian Cancer Day. The provincial government has contributed $2 million to Ovarian Cancer Canada since 2020. This funding supports 3 Saskatchewan-based research projects focused on research, clinical trials, and treatment options. Still to come, what we know about the Canadians sick with hantavirus from a cruise ship. Also, what's giving passengers a grounded feeling as jet fuel surges in price. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Consular officials from Global Affairs are on their way to meet up with 4 Canadians as a cruise ship heads toward Spain's Canary Islands. It follows an outbreak of the hantavirus on the ship. Adrian Gabriel has the details.
One of our passengers sadly passed away last night.
Sunday, April 12th, this captain's address informs those on board the MV Honduras that a passenger has died, though there's no signs of an infectious disease on the ship.
It was due to natural causes, we believe.
Rohi Chenet recorded the captain speaking to those on board.
People were socializing with each other. We had our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner all together in the dining room, sitting side by side.
3 people have died since the ship set sail from Argentina a month ago. 8 others are suspected to have contracted the virus. So far, the 4 Canadians who remain on board are showing no symptoms, though CTV News has now learned that 2 additional Canadians are among the more than 24 people from 12 different countries who left the ship 2 weeks ago unaware of the outbreak.
For these 2 individuals, they have been, from day one, monitored and assessed on a daily basis.
Confirmation that a Quebecer who was on the same flight as a passenger with hantavirus is also in isolation. In a social media post, Quebec's Minister of Health saying it doesn't seem like they were in close proximity and the risk of transmission is very low. There are minimal concerns for the wider public, according to the World Health Organization. Hantavirus is usually spread through the inhalation of contaminated rodent droppings and isn't easily transmitted between people.
Given the incubation period of the Andes virus, which can be up to 6 weeks, it's possible that more cases may be reported.
The MV Honduras cruise ship was anchored for 3 days near Cape Verde off the coast of West Africa. It's now located here in the North Atlantic as it travels towards Spain's Canary Islands, where it's expected to arrive this weekend with more than 140 people on board.
Consular support will be in place when the ship reaches port.
Those who remain on the ship have shared that health and safety protocols are now in place, though many have been left to wonder if more could have been done sooner. The World Health Organization clearly stating that this outbreak is different than the COVID-19 pandemic. This is limited to just a small number of people, and currently there's no national or global threat. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Gas prices are hitting their highest levels in 4 years, and drivers aren't the only ones trying to adapt. Air Canada is announcing new reductions in its flight schedule, and at least one insurance company is no longer covering cancellations related to the jet fuel shortage. Andrew Johnson reports.
This will mean fewer options for some people who fly on a list of route reductions across multiple airlines that continues to grow. In Metro Vancouver, Alexandra Antonovich is feeling it. She visits her parents several times a year in Raleigh, North Carolina, and was delighted when Air Canada added a direct flight from YVR.
It just takes only 5 hours. Usually I would take connect flights, and that would be about double the time, even triple. With some strikes going on, it was once like a day and a half. So it's just convenient.
But that seasonal route will end early this summer. Air Canada is also ending seasonal routes early from Toronto to Charleston, North Carolina, and Sacramento, California, and from Montreal to Austin, Texas. The airline says the decision was made as a direct result of the price of jet fuel. WestJet also previously announced plans to slash its capacity by nearly 6% in June. Antonovich says it all adds up to another hit to the cost of living in 2026.
We travel around a lot in our car, and we see the gas prices going up every day. I'm sure that affects also the food prices and the flights and everything in our daily lives.
Air Canada says customers who have already booked are being contacted with alternate options or a refund. There is another spin-off effect if you buy insurance to protect you in the event of cancellations. Manulife says it is now classifying the jet fuel shortage as a known event. What that means is if you book travel cancellation or disruption insurance through Manulife after May 5th, problems related to this issue likely won't be covered. It might be a good idea to check with your insurance provider before making any new bookings. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
In the Middle East, the U.S. military says Iran launched missiles, drones, and small boats as 3 American destroyers moved through the Strait of Hormuz today. The U.S. says none of its vessels was hit. The attack comes amid the ongoing battle for control of the international waterway. After today's Iranian military action, the U.S. says it carried out retaliatory strikes on assets that were responsible for unprovoked hostilities. They included launch sites, command and control locations, as well as intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance targets. The latest exchange raises further concerns about the sustainability of a shaky ceasefire that began a month ago. The school in Tumbler Ridge, BC, which was the site of a mass shooting in February, will be torn down and rebuilt on a new site. BC Premier David Eby says the plan took shape on the night he attended a vigil in the northeastern BC town. 6 people were killed and 2 others were wounded when an 18-year-old former student opened fire at the school on February 10th. The mass murder shocked the small community and drew an outpouring of grief from around the country. Word today, there have been more than 42,000 breaches at the Canada Revenue Agency since 2020. The Federal Privacy Commissioner says it's a result of people gaining unauthorized access to or modifying taxpayer information. Philip Dufresne points to gaps in the CRA's prevention, monitoring, detection, and handling of breaches. The agency did not implement mandatory multi-factor authentication in a timely manner and could not always adequately explain how attackers managed to bypass the process. The largest gathering of Conservatives in Canada is underway. Party leader Pierre Poilievre urged the crowd in Ottawa to never give up because so much is at stake.
Some people believe that we should stop fighting, join the club, be content with the way things are. That certainly would be easier, my friends. But easy street leads to a dead end, and the hardest roads lead to the best destinations. Our destination as a country, the country that we knew and still love, a country where the people are back in charge of their lives, because this country and its people are worth fighting for. I keep fighting, and I hope you will too. Merci beaucoup.
Poilievre says Ottawa is full of entrenched special interest groups defending the status quo and insists Conservatives need to keep winning debates in opposition. Alberta's Premier and the U.S. Ambassador to Canada will speak tomorrow at the Canada Strong and Free Network Conference. All right, Jeff, I think I missed the few droplets of rain that fell today.
Well, there was more than a few drops. If you went outside, you know, the pavement was wet. You're busy. You're very busy. But yes, it looked like we had a decent little downpour. I don't have any numbers in terms of accumulation, but you can certainly see, as I say, the wet pavement. And it was sort of over the period of maybe a couple of hours, so it might have been spotty on again, off again. We don't have windows, folks. It's tough to see. Anyhow, what can I tell you? All I know is that it was wet outside. The possibility of some showers is certainly there because of these unsettled conditions as a cold front slides through the area. 17 degrees in Saskatoon right now, 14 in Prince Albert, 18 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, the wind's starting to pick up in the Battlefords area. Still kind of breezy in Saskatoon, not much wind in Prince Albert. Saskatoon's almanac, well, 17 degrees, our current temperature. That is our high temperature for today, which is seasonal. 32, though, that's the record temperature for the 6th of May. And as you can see, minus 11, or 7th of May, rather. We got a minus 11 for the cold temperature record on this date. Once again, second day in a row for 1907 being the culprit. And the sun is going to go down at 8:42.
Coming up, learning to conserve nature at a young age. How one Calgary kid is doing his part and receiving national attention for it.
Western Hockey League final begins Friday night. So in the morning, we're connecting with the Prince Albert Raiders head coach Ryan McDonald as he gets set to bring his team to Everett to face the Silvertips.
Okay, let's take a look at our sky right now. Well, just a few clouds along the horizon, but obviously we had more clouds earlier today, and that's what brought us the rain. That system has continued to move through, and we'll take a look and see what's going on with our satellite and radar shot here. So as you can see, there's still a lot of active weather there. There's a cold front sliding through the province, so it's, it's not a surprise at this time of year. Warmer temperatures and instability in the atmosphere, it sparks things up, and so that's what we've got going on with that. And as we take a look at some other things, we're going to double check our numbers here. Yeah, it's 17 degrees in Saskatoon, 14 in Prince Albert, 18 in the Battlefords. And as we take a look at our hotspot in the province, that was Kindersley at 22 degrees. Collins Bay, the cold spot at minus 13. Around the province we go, and currently it is 19 degrees in Lloydminster, 21 in Swift Current, 16 in Moose Jaw, 15 in Regina, and 14 in both Estevan and Yorkton. In central parts of the province, temperatures ranging quite a lot, actually. 10 degrees between Waskesiu and Kindersley. Kindersley at 21, Waskesiu at 11. It's 17 in Meadow Lake, 16 in Watrous, 14 in Wynyard, and 12 in a few locations toward the eastern side of the province. Single digits for the northern part of the province right now, but just barely as far as La Ronge is considered. 9 degrees in La Ronge, 7 in Buffalo Narrows, 8 in Sandy Bay, Island Falls, but just 4 degrees in South End and Collins Bay. A little warmer than that in Stony Rapids and a few other locations. 20 degrees in Maple Creek, 19 in East End and Elbow and Outlook. But as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures drop off somewhat significantly. Just 14 degrees in Indian Head, Weyburn, Melville, Broadview, and Carlisle. Here we go with our futurecast. The computer modeling indicating that there's some spotty showers we anticipate. And yes, some of those little spots we see, a little bit of a possibility of a rain-snow mix and some possible flurries are in there. Yes, we'll talk about that momentarily. And tomorrow afternoon, it won't be so windy in the morning, but in the afternoon, we do anticipate more in the way of windy conditions. So let's talk about that rain-snow mix. Cloudy conditions in northern Saskatchewan, temperatures around 7 degrees, but Buffalo Narrows could see is about a 60% chance of showers, but there is a risk of some freezing rain tomorrow morning, so please keep that in mind. Temperatures jump up to 12 degrees in Meadow Lake, Spearwood, darn close to that, but a lot warmer in Kindersley and Rosetown. Kindersley 22, 21 in Rosetown, 22 as well in Leader, 20 in Outlook, 23 in Maple Creek, and windy and 21 degrees in Swift Current on Friday. Windy conditions and around 20 degrees for Regina, Moose Jaw, and Estevan. Yorkton, about a 60% chance of showers and 14 degrees. 11 in Melfort, 13 in Humboldt, 12 in Hudson Bay, but 16 degrees in Watrous, and we're looking at cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. The Battleford's dropping down to 3 degrees tonight, 18 tomorrow with windy conditions in the afternoon, 16 on Saturday, Mother's Day 22, and starting off the work week at 19 degrees and a chance of showers. For Prince Albert, an overnight temperature of 1 with about a 30% chance of some showers. Cloudy conditions tomorrow, breezy conditions in terms of the wind. 13 on Saturday with mainly sunny skies. Mother's Day, mainly cloudy and 17. To start off the work week, it looks like it's going to be a showery or rainy day, 12 degrees, but then into the low 20s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Saskatoon's overnight temperature dropping down to 2 degrees. The winds back off as well. Clearing skies, but the clouds will show up again tomorrow, and it's going to be windier in the afternoon, as I have mentioned. And Saturday, mainly sunny, 16 degrees, 21 for Mother's Day with mainly cloudy skies, a chance of showers to start the work week, and then temperatures in the low to mid 20s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tonight and Friday, the legendary Patsy Cline show starring Amberly Beatty is on stage at the Broadway.
Took the gamble on myself, watch me shake the dice. They say always die slow, I've been killing mine. Feel that voice creeps in, even when I'm feeling fine.
Robbie G and his Only Homies Canadian tour lands at the Capitol Music Club on Friday night.
I was not in the least drunk, Ruth. Something happened to me last night. Something very peculiar happened to me. Nonsense.
You have until Sunday to take in the supernatural comedy Blithe Spirit. To book your tickets, contact the Persephone Theatre box office. Friday, The Basement welcomes Alain Bédard and the Auguste Quartet. Saturday, The Basement presents piano man and vocalist David Fong. And Wednesday, it's a tribute to Steely Dan from Elroy Blue.
I don't know. I've never been good at sitting.
Your job is sitting.
Yeah, but it's not sitting still.
25th Street Theatre is inviting you to take a trip across Saskatoon with Behind Closed Doors. 6 short plays, 20 minutes or less, are performed in 6 unique and tiny venues.
Drinking really can make anything fun. Like, that's how you get people over. Do you want to help me paint the fence? No, not really. You got a case of beer? Yeah, I'll be right over. I'll bring a roller.
Saturday evening, the Capitol Music Club celebrates its long relationship with stand-up comic Kelly Taylor with 12 Years with Kelly Taylor. Showtime is 7 o'clock.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
You go up to his trailer?
Yes.
Nothing says Mother's Day like a screening of No Country for Old Men. That's 4 o'clock on Sunday at the Broadway. Not to worry, Mama, because Sunday at 7, the Broadway is showing Mamma Mia. Do you feel like a rat in a corporate maze? Maybe you are. Maybe we all are. Maybe not. Find out on Friday, May 15th, as Saskatoon Soap's improv comedy presents The Back Rooms. 3-time Juno winners the Griffin Trio will be in concert on Tuesday, May 19th at St. John's Anglican Cathedral on Spadina.
All right, Jeff, a true mixture of photos for us.
We really do. We're going to start off with the crocus picture of the day. We've got a lot of crocus pictures here, and this one comes to us from Joan out in the area around Burr, which is south of Humboldt. Crocus, a flower for which we anxiously await the arrival of every spring. I think a lot of people would share that sentiment. A lovely shot there, Joan, so thank you. Next one comes to us from Bev in Milden. Smokey, enjoying the sunshine and bird watching with his stuffy pal. And finally, there's this one. There you go. This comes to us from Michael. Hey, Jeff, I'd like to wish my son Devlin a happy birthday. He's 18 years of age today, and I'm proud to be his father. And we'd like to pass along our birthday wishes as well to Devlin. So thank you for sending that in, Michael. And if you'd like to send an image our way, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, or you can scan the QR code on the screen, and that'll help get those pictures to us as well.
Still to come on CTV News, the youngster doing his part for the great outdoors. We meet 5-year-old Jack, who is a young Canadian Ranger. A Calgary kindergarten student is hoping his love of nature can propel him to become North America's next junior ranger. Here is Kevin Green.
In Griffith Woods Park in southwest Calgary, 5-year-old Jack Lanstra moves quickly through the trees, climbing logs, searching for insects, and talking excitedly about animals, forests, and why he loves being outside. These days, he's learning about bee hummingbirds.
It's a hummingbird that is almost the size of a bee, and its nest is as big as a golf ball. And its eggs are the size of a coffee bean.
Jack also protects the natural spaces he loves, stopping to clean up garbage during walks in the woods.
Me and my grandma were walking, and then when we were walking, we decided to get a garbage bag. So we got a garbage bag and then went for a walk. And we got lots of garbage, that big tire.
Jack is currently in second place across North America in the National Wildlife Federation's Junior Ranger competition. The program, hosted by wildlife expert Jeff Corwin, encourages kids to learn about conservation and protecting the natural world.
So we told him, not about the competition, but that there was a chance to be part of a group of kids around the world who care about protecting nature and the wild spaces, and he got really excited about that.
Jack's mom says his love of nature started early and says he feels most at home outside, reminding his family to slow down and enjoy the forest around them. Jack says for him, the forest is also a keeper of family memories.
I think about my grandpa because he liked trees, and then my mom liked trees, and then I liked trees.
The winner of the Junior Ranger competition receives a cash prize, a feature in Ranger Rick magazine, and an expedition with Jeff Corwin. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
When we come back, something special at the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame. And later, when going a little squirrely is part of family fun.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at the rural forecast for Friday. And we're going to take a look at what's going on towards the western side of the province, as we always do. And look at these temperatures. Nicely above seasonal. Not by a lot, but a little bit. 18 in Lloydminster under mainly sunny skies. 21 for Kindersley, 20 for Outlook. 13 in Spiritwood and 12 for Meadow Lake. Yeah, a little bit below seasonal. But 16 in Watrous, 12 in Hudson Bay and Wynyard. Wynyard, as I mentioned earlier on, about a 60% chance of some showers. And then as we take a look at other parts of eastern Saskatchewan, Carlisle and Broadview expecting more in the way of some standard rain. That's particularly true of Broadview. But towards the western side of the province, some really warm temperatures there into the low 20s in many locations, but also some windy conditions. That's certainly true of Assiniboia, Pilot Butte, and Coronach. We could see wind gusts up around 50 kilometers an hour or more. Now, as a closer look at Hanley. And Hanley, just want to remind people that coming up on Saturday, the Hanley Minor Ball Group is presenting the second annual Spring Fling Family Dance. That's coming up. Starts at 6 o'clock, goes till 9, and that's the community hall. So that's going on, the Spring Fling Dance happening in Hanley on Saturday. And tomorrow we're looking at 19 degrees with mainly cloudy skies. A bit on the breezy side, though, in Hanley. And we'll give you an update on Hanley as their weather for Saturday tomorrow night. But just to remind you that Hanley is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame is marking a milestone, celebrating 6 decades. It unveiled a new exhibit called 60 Years of Saskatchewan Sport, which features some significant Saskatchewan athletes who have contributed to the sporting world over the years. It includes some of the province's greatest heroes with pictures, videos, and artifacts.
And so we've tried to pick out some of the high-level highlights, which is always a little bit tricky when there's so much great Saskatchewan sports stories. But the timeline does sort of show some of those key moments, whether it's a first World Series appearance, a first Stanley Cup winner, a first Olympian, or other iconic teams and or stories in Saskatchewan sport. And then we also have cases that highlight different decades and some of the stories a little bit deeper.
The Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame opened in 1966. Day 2 of Roughriders rookie camp got underway in Saskatoon earlier today as first-time CFLers look to make an impression. Here is Lee Jones with a look at the defensive line and linebackers.
The Riders' D-line will have a different look with the departure of 3 Grey Cup starters, including Malik Carney to free agency and Micah Johnson to retirement. The only starter from the Grey Cup back is American defensive tackle Mike Rose. Last year, he was tied for second on the team with 3 sacks. Caleb Sanders and Canadian Ali Saad, combining for 3 sacks last year, should see plenty of time as starters at D-tackle. Devin Adams joins the team from Winnipeg, where he picked up a pair of sacks last year. Rounding out the D-tackle roster, Kendi Charles, who spent time on the practice roster, American rookies Thor Griffith, Nathan Pickering, Davin Van, and Jalen Pate.
Tie game. Pressure on Mayer, and they've got him. Jake Mayer is sacked.
defensive end, the Riders brought in veteran James Vaughters from Winnipeg. He had 6 sacks last season. Aaron Patrick played 16 games for the Riders, mainly as a backup and special teams with 7 defensive tackles. After that, it's a lot of unknowns. 6 American CFL rookies and 4 Canadians, including 2023 first-round draft pick Lake Cordy Moore.
Half Brown down the field, over the middle, taken away again!
In the linebacking core, Jameer Thurman and his 86 tackles, 3 sacks, and 3 interceptions is back in the middle, along with strong side linebacker Antoine Brooks Jr. With A.J. Allen leaving for Ottawa, the Riders could go with another Canadian, a weak side linebacker in Malik Straker, who played well on special teams, or they could go American with free agent pickup Josh Woods and his 62 tackles last year in BC, or Aubrey Miller Jr., who can play middle linebacker as well. He played mainly on special teams for the Riders, but did get 14 tackles. Other linebackers include Americans Vi Jones, David Gabenda, Demore Kennedy, along with Canadians Nick Weeb and Ryder Varga, global player Tyron Verdi, and draft pick Osasier Odemwenge.
The government of Saskatchewan is touting a strong 2025 for its mining sector. Last year, the sector generated more than $12.8 billion in mineral sales, mainly due to gains in the value of potash and uranium sales, a 19% increase compared to 2024. A new industry record was set, with potash sales rising more than 18% to a total of $9.3 billion, and uranium sales rising 24% to $3.2 billion.
These two industries have been foundations of our provincial economy for decades, and the people of Saskatchewan continue to reap the benefits that potash and the uranium sectors generate every year. Saskatchewan once again led Canada in mineral resource development spending, with our industry investing over $6.7 billion, accounting for 25% of the country's total.
Saskatchewan is home to 27 of 34 minerals. The province is looking at helium, lithium, hydrogen, as well as other critical minerals that they are seeing very great early success with. A Canadian mining company is halting operations in Cuba because of U.S. sanctions. Morella Fernandez explains.
Sherrod International has partnered with the island nation to run cobalt and nickel operations for decades. It is one of Cuba's largest foreign investors. Washington has announced sanctions on any foreign person operating in Cuba's metals and mining sectors, so Sherrod's work there is being suspended immediately. Their shares fell 42% today. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down to 73.27. West Texas Intermediate down to 94.81. Western Canadian Select is down over $6 to 74.47. And the TSX lost 125 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Coming up, a bird's eye view of an endangered species. Then what made one squirrel a little nutty?
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Get comfortable and settle in with these top shows all right here tonight on CTV. Well, a rare look now at what officials say is Canada's most endangered bird species. The first northern spotted owl chicks of the year have hatched in Langley, and you can actually watch them online. The Northern Spotted Owl Breeding Program says the chicks hatched last month and are being raised by experienced foster owls. The live nest camera offers a close-up look at the species, which has fewer than 5 owls left in the wild in Canada. The chicks will remain in the nest until they fledge in a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's kind of like a live cam. You can take it all in. All right, speaking of catching things on camera, an Ontario family has been coming up with some ideas to entertain the squirrels on their property, and they say this one tops all of their ideas. Sylvie Potts sent our CTV colleagues in Ottawa this video of a seesaw that they built for the squirrels. This one, I think he's enjoying it. Hanging on. They posted the video to Facebook, and it now has 3 million views. You want to find out if he falls or
I do. But what gets me is that it's like they were looking for ways to entertain the squirrels on their property. It's like, those poor squirrels, they're bored. Let's do something for them.
He keeps coming back for more.
Exactly. So there you go.
Clearly, it's it's a fun thing for it.
It probably is.
Maybe.
Critters like to play. We've got it, maybe not around tomorrow around noon, because it looks like it's going to be raining, but we'll take a look and see. No, we won't. We'll just simply tell you that tomorrow there's a chance of some rain tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.